Hello everybody, my name is John Diaz, presidential candidate. I'm running for the presidency of the United States as an independent write-in candidate. So I'm urging and asking everybody to watch all the videos I've made so far. It's been a lot of videos so far. Today I find myself in Colombia, in South America. What have I learned so far since being here? Well, since day one, when I arrived, I looked at the airport and I quickly noticed American products all over the place. I saw Boeing aircraft. As a matter of fact, the aircraft I was in was an Airbus. And what does that mean? It means that capitalism. It means that Colombia purchases from the Americans' products and they purchase from Europe. And ever since I've been here, I've seen a lot of American products, as you've seen in the videos I've made before this. I can't explain how many products. I mean, from Coca-Cola to John Deere dealerships to Chevrolet to Ford to Caterpillar. So many products, and that's why we've got to have a good tie with all our capitalist partners throughout the world, all throughout Latin America, all throughout Africa, Asia, and we've got to help one another out to have good relationships, because manufacturing is on the line. And as you guys saw in a lot of the previous videos, all the empty warehouses throughout America, imagine the opportunities. Now, it's important for our partners to also make substantial profits so they can purchase all these products, and so they can also do things that I've mentioned in the previous videos, such as have better roadways. There's a lot of roadways here in Colombia that are in poor shape. As a matter of fact, there's a town nearby here that has a beautiful church. And there's a lot of foreigners that are moving in all these areas. You know, they're buying up land, building homes. And this particular town with the church, you know, it's got poor roads going there. So if you guys looked at the previous video of my idea of completing the Pan American Highway, I know there's a lot of resistance on that thought, but with good planning and good engineering, anything's possible. Imagine the opportunities of Americans coming here to Colombia and to all over South America, Central America. It would be an opportunity to have the military join in and secure all those continents, to make it a safer place for people to travel here and vice versa, for people here to travel to the United States, and also have the military dispersed throughout the U.S. to create a safer America and really a safer world. Imagine the manufacturing that would create in the United States, all the added trillions of miles of automobiles and trucks, tractor trailers. It would also ease on the shipping, you know, where we have so much congestion and also the problems that face the Panama Canal with drought. And all these problems go back to all the previous videos I've made. I really urge everybody to go back from video number 1. I think I'm at believe it's 35 videos so far. I urge everybody to look at each video because we're creating jobs out of nowhere, jobs that don't exist. And then on top of that, with a robust economy, it'll feed into so many sectors of blue collar, white collar. it'll feed into the lower class, the middle class, and the upper class. My job and my mission is to help the American people as a whole. I'm not focused on helping one category or another. My mission is to help all the American people succeed. And if you look at starting on video number 1, I introduced the bonus program to help people that are unemployed, to help people that are homeless, to help people that are part-time, full-time workers, and to help certain categories like military members, like police officers, like corrections officers, caregivers, the elderly that are on retirement that earn so little that it's a disgrace. And truckers, of course. What would we do without our truckers? The economy would go nowhere. So this is about benefiting so many hardworking people. It's about really, truly rewarding the American people for once in a big way, not what we've seen in the past. I think that not only in the United States, but also here in Colombia and elsewhere, well, people hide from the real issues, from the problems. What we need is a robust economy like never seen before. We need all those warehouses filled up. We need jobs. We need to put all our people to work. And I think the bonus program is a wonderful thing because it makes people have hope. It makes people want to work. Maybe the people that are unemployed get $600 a week, and then they might say to themselves, you know what, I want to shoot for $700 for the part-time workers a week, or maybe I want to shoot for the $800 a week full-time, or maybe I want to be one of those categories of the $900 a week that I just mentioned, the special category of, you know, maybe they might want to join the military, become a police officer, become a trucker with Class A and B CDL license. So please look at all the videos so you understand what I'm talking about. I think that this bonus program is offered 18 years and over with an income of up to $100,000. And this would be offered after the first year of the presidency. Of course, this is a bill, legislation that would have to pass. But my job would be to talk to both sides, to tell them we've got to unite for the people, we've got to reward the people. All the money that's been given in the past, it's not enough for people to survive. It's more than evident. You know, when I was doing rideshare driving, I saw so many people driving around with bald tires, with screeching brakes, with squeaking belts, no exhaust systems, just full of hazards, hazards to the roadways, hazards to themselves, hazards to the public. Should we just continue this way, or do we do something about it? I'm the guy that's trying to make a serious change here, a change never seen before. And, a lot of people might say, oh, this guy, he's talking crazy. It's something that's impossible. Well, if people, if NASA can go to the moon and, go to space and do all these incredible missions, we can do anything. Anything that we have in our mind. And so that's what I've learned here in Colombia, that if we don't take care of our partners, we have Russia and China and all their allies on the prowl. Now, the other day, Tucker Carlson did a video with Vladimir Putin. And of course, Tucker Carlson, he's not an expert in royalty. And so all he could do was listen. And so Vladimir Putin made it seem like he was a seasoned expert in the matter. But I believe that he was wrong, because the communists, they usually take over the royalty. And in the case of Russia, that's exactly what they did. They killed the entire royal family, and they simply took over from that point on, when it became the Soviet Union. So whatever royalty he was talking about, Vladimir Putin, that would be prior to that event. So what Vladimir Putin's doing today is simply not right. It's illegal. And he's going against the world in a sense. But the United States, we want to secure the borders at the same time, but we have to be careful how to go about it. We have to be careful not to lose our partnerships, our relationships with all our capitalist allies. Because if we're not careful, we've got Russia and China that are readily available to take over those places, as we know. Look at what they're willing to do with Ukraine, So all I can say for the people out there that are confused about Israel is, don't be confused. This is pretty simple. Israel stands for royalty and capitalism. It stands for a civilized world. It stands for progression. It stands for intelligence. And they were attacked. Their people were killed, abused. And what Israel's doing today is defending themselves. They're defending themselves. And the group that caused those crimes is called Hamas. Now, in Spanish, Hamas means never. Now, we might as well change that name, because what they're saying is that they're never going to be defeated. Well, Benjamin Netanyahu is the Prime Minister of Israel, and he's trying to defend the people of Israel. He's trying to eliminate this problem, to precisely help all the Palestinian and Arab neighbors. So when all this scourge is gone, everybody can live in peace. Everybody can become progressed, everybody can be civilized without these type of threats. It's the same as 9/11 when the United States was attacked. The United States had to try to do something about it to defend themselves and to try to rid the terror that obviously never seems to end. So all I can say is that in my administration, I've looked at the statistics of Israel and the United States throughout the course of their inception. We've helped Israel out with about $225 billion. Now, if I was elected president of the United States, I would, in my term, my first term, I would try to give Israel maybe $1 trillion. Because we have to help Israel. They're part of our capitalist partners. We all know the history of what happened to the Jewish people. We understand what they've been through. And I believe that after it's all said and done, the Palestinians, the Israelis can all live together in harmony without these people and these threats. Everybody has a different stance on this, but we must understand that precisely the capitalists are the royals throughout the world. King David represents the Jews. And I'm all for the royalty, all for capitalism, all for helping out Israel. And since I've been here in Colombia, I've noticed that, the better they can do here with their economy, the more products they'll buy from the United States. The more money they make, the more they can invest in their military to protect their independence here in Colombia. Here in Colombia, they buy Israeli jets, fighter jets. They buy a lot of Israeli products. They also buy a lot of products from the United States, a lot of military equipment. So it's important. So I'm just using Colombia as an example. We've got to have good ties, but we've got to have a raging economy like never before. And Russia and China, they don't want that. As a matter of fact, they want the opposite. So I understand that. It's in my mind. And part of raising money is talking to the capitalists throughout the world, all the royals. As a matter of fact, I should be up front and let the world know that I'm part of that royalty, just at the very bottom, because of my parents. But so is Donald Trump, and so is George Bush, and so is Obama, but maybe the American public don't realize that because nobody ever talks about it. So instead of, maybe being told what to do, I'm going to use the opposite strategy. I'll work with them, but I need them to also help us out, help the cause of capitalism. So, I expect everybody to pay and help and invest in the American stock market. And those investments will drive an explosive economy that'll benefit the royals throughout the world. So I'm the guy that's going to make America wealthy as much as humanly possible. My mission's to make the royalties wealthy, wealthier than they've ever imagined in their life. because they are the capitalists, and that's what it's about. Uh, so I'm talking to America today to look at me as a candidate, as a spokesman. Elect me. And if you look at all the videos, you'll see that my only intent in all the videos is to progress America, to give back to the people, to help the people like they've never been helped before, to provide America with one of the most explosive economies ever seen before. So I ask you all to look at me strongly. If you want to vote for me, you've got to call your election centers and become an independent and vote for me. I'm an independent candidate. I'm not on any ballot. I'm not a rich man. I'm not a millionaire that can do that. The system mainly works for the people with the money. Now, we all know that all the candidates have lots of money. They're successful, rich candidates. As a matter of fact, I'm poor, but I'm not asking anybody for donations. I'm not asking anybody for a penny. At the same time, I'm not spending millions on TV commercials. I'm just doing YouTube because it's no cost. So imagine that. No cost to the American public. None at all. So you guys make a choice in November. That's the beautiful thing about the United States of America. I'm asking for everybody's help. And in the coming videos, I'll talk more about military strategy and what I have in my mind. I believe that the U.S. needs to make a lot of investments, strong investments in various sectors. The only thing I'll say in this video regarding that issue is a lot of money needs to be put into that sector because America simply needs to be number one around the world. So what does that mean? That means that if Russia has equipment that we don't, we've got to get that equipment, we've got to get more of it and be superior in every way, whether it's China or whoever else. So that's why we've got to have an explosive economy, and that's exactly why Russia and China don't want us to be successful. And it's sad because if you look at the statistics of debt, Russia doesn't have much debt, China doesn't have much debt. And so we got to ask ourselves, well, why do we have all this debt? Because we've had 9/11, because we've had coronavirus. Just those two issues right there are an enormous part of the debt we have right now. So I understand this. I have it in my mind. You guys, look, I'm urging everybody, please, to go look at every video I've made. See what I'm about. Let us take charge of this economy like never before. Let us take charge of helping our own people, our own citizens of the United States, which is what the bonus program would, the people that we would be helping, the citizens of this country. And the way that we can help all our partners of capitalism is by having a robust economy where we have the borders completely under control, where we know who's here in our country, and where we give those people legal permits to work and they pay their taxes and they do their fair share so they can help their economies back home, like here in Colombia. like Israel, so they can prosper. We must always help Israel no matter what. What's happening right now in Israel and the Gaza Strip is ugly. It's not a pretty scene, a lot of destruction, a lot of death. But we must never forget what Hamas did to Israel. They killed innocent people, killed innocent children, tortured people. So we must always be on their side, always. And what they're doing is they're trying to rid these type of people that want the destruction of capitalism, the destruction of royalty, the capital, the money that helps progress the world. What would China be without the capitalism? What would Russia be without the capitalism? I think Vladimir Putin has a house that's over $1 billion. What would he have done without the capitalism? So I'm urging everybody to look at me seriously as an option in November. Look at the bonus program alone. That's more help to the American people than any candidate combined in everything they've said, put together. We've got to be united. We've got to help this country out. We've got to make some hard choices. But I'll tell you this. I think about Chris Christie, the governor of New Jersey, when he was campaigning, and he said to himself, he said to the American public that we've got to make hard choices because of all the debt we have. He said we had to go through a lot of hardships to pay off all the debt. We had to make a lot of cuts. Well, that's one way of doing it, where everybody suffers and a lot of people, the people riding around with the bald tires and the screeching brakes and the no muffler and the squeaking belts and the head gasket blown on the engine and the smoking on the exhaust and the people that are living in their cars and their pickups and their vans and the people that are living in the woods. Well, what are we going to tell those people? To suffer more while we pay the debt off? Now, Chris Christie's a good, decent gentleman, and he's just going about his own experience, but my view is simply different than his view. We all have different views, and you guys have heard my views on the previous videos. You guys have heard me talk about creating jobs out of nowhere, jobs that simply don't exist. That alone will be millions and millions of jobs that could surpass 50 million new jobs, maybe even 100 million. And not only are we creating jobs, but we're tackling problems like fires throughout America. Like here in Colombia, there's this enormous drought going on. I talked to a firefighter this morning here in Colombia, and he said that it's been tough, it's been dry, there's been a lot of fires, and they've been busy. But we can eliminate that problem with the watering that I'm talking about, becoming a global leader in water production and water exportation, exporting to other nations like Colombia that need it. And here in Colombia, they can employ millions and millions of new jobs that don't exist, picking up litter, converting that to fuel, watering their lands so there's no fires, and so the animals have food to eat because the grass will be green and grows, so they can take care of their animals, which means there'll be food, which means they can grow tomatoes and vegetables to feed their people with the animals and all the plant plant food. And that goes for the United States as well. Putting our own people to water our land by land and by air, and tapping into all the flood waters that we never tap into. We just let it all go. Instead, we can be vacuuming that water into tanker trucks and taking that water to treatment plants throughout America, wherever water is needed to fill all the reservoirs. And then with all the leftover surplus, we can sell it to people around the world that need water. Places like Africa where it's dry and they can't do any farming. It would be a big change around the world. And maybe places that flood throughout in other parts of the world, we could help out by vacuuming water into large ships that are made for, water tankers that can take that water to a port and unload it to treatment plants where it's processed, cleaned, and distributed, which ties into an idea I had about a national water pipeline that can be a network throughout time. It'll take a long time to do. It'll be expensive. So my idea is to pay off the debt in my term, to have an enormous surplus, to help Israel. I want to contribute to them more than anybody's ever contributed in history. Imagine 225 billion they've received since the beginning of Israel, since becoming a state. And I want to contribute 1 trillion to them to help them out, so they can progress, so they can protect themselves, so they can protect their people, their land, and to have about programs to be in good standing with the neighbors, where everybody can get along, where everything is civilized, so we can defeat terrorists and people who want to create chaos, people who want to destroy capitalism, people who don't like capitalism, who don't like royalty. Those people must be removed. They must be defeated. And they must eventually understand that that's not a good way of life. And when we look at what Vladimir Putin was saying about the royalty that they terminated, the land that they took, and that's how it goes. They think they can just take whatever they want. So look at their people. Are they in poverty? Well, you know what? To be fair, they may be beating us at the moment. Their debt's lower. The poverty may be even equivalent or lower. So this is what I'm trying to say. This is what my mission is, to be number one. To be number one again in everything. And so I need your help, the American people, to help me get there. Change over to independent and vote for me in November as a write-in candidate. I won't be on the ballot, so you got to write me in. John, John Diaz, Diaz, independent. That's what I am, an independent candidate. I'm not for Republicans, I'm not for Democrats, I'm for all of us united as one. And hopefully, if I get that mission, if I get rewarded with that honor from the American people to have this important job. And just remember, no donations, not 1 penny. I'm not spending millions or billions in commercials and advertisement, just YouTube. I'm not rich. I can't even afford to be on the ballot. You need a lot of money for that. As a matter of fact, the election commissions need to make it more transparent for future candidates. They need to not let the American people, the American politicians, when they're running for the office, they should make it transparent. What does it cost to be on the ballot? Let the candidates know an exact figure, because it's unclear until you actually start looking it up. So on the next videos, I'll talk more about military strategy, and keeping in mind what I've given you ahead of time, that we must be number one, period. We must be number one in everything we do. We must have more equipment than anybody. And why? Because we're here to protect America, the American citizens, the American people, protect our homeland. But we're also here to help all our allies, to work with all the capitalist nations all over Latin America, Africa, and Europe, and Asia, and have a good standing with everybody. We've got to pay our debt off and have a large surplus. That's what I wish to do. An enormous surplus. And it's going to take a whole lot of, it's going to have to be an explosive economy in those 4 years if I make it there. I'm calculating approximately about a gross of $800 trillion in gross sales in the economy of the United States in 4 years. Right now, the U.S. is only pumping out 20. And well, it's evident that the 20 can't sustain anything, because we're in total debt at the moment, and it's only going to get worse. So we've got to have all these visions up here and put them to action. So that's why I say that the first year I don't offer the bonus program. It's after the first year, because the first year we've got to turn the economy around literally 360 and more. We've got to make it explosive. I also have to convince both parties to join together to do what's right for the American people. Do we continue this of worn out tires, people living in the woods, people living in their cars, all the homelessness just getting worse? So imagine, I'm the guy here, this one candidate that's talking all this, and the other candidates are just trying to win. But what have they sold the American public? What have they told the American public they're going to do? What are they going to do on the behalf of the American people? What's their strategy? That's all I've talked about. So I'd like to incorporate everything I've talked about into reality. The watering, becoming a leader in the water production is something that's incredible. Imagine watering all our land, irrigating it, putting people to water, just like at nurseries where they water trees, they water shrubs, they water sod. Imagine we'd be watering all our trees and plants and all the land evenly to prevent fires, to put millions and millions of new jobs. And you know, watering's a pretty fun job. When I was a landscaper, I actually loved to water. It's soothing, it's enjoyable, and you feel good, and you see the difference when you're watering, how the plants revive themselves and grow strong. It's a beautiful thing. And litter, I've talked about this over and over in all the videos. And all these things, you know, when you couple all this with all the other videos of cleaning up our forest, cleaning up beautifying our landscapes. And I haven't even talked about military production and what I have in mind for that. Um, you're just talking about, we don't even have enough people. And that's why it's important to have a good alliance with all our allies, our capitalist partners. We must have a good relationship with everybody to make all this reality. We've got to help all the allies we have. We've got to make their economies thrive and prosper and be explosive, just like ours. So we can all grow together, so we can all help our people, so we can all grow together to be united as one big force, one strong force, stronger than ever before. Look at Germany and all the problems they have with their farmers, and just France. So I want to help Germany out, and France and Italy and Spain and Belgium and Sweden, but they also have to help us. We've got to work together. We've got to be united. They also have to help us investing in the stock market to make it explosive like never before. So we can all help each other. It's like they're making an investment and then they're going to get a return. Because the economy here, if it's explosive, they will all get a return. And then they can grow just like us. And that's the idea. So, I'm not all about talk. I'm not trying to fly in Air Force One all around the world with a tie and talking a lot. As a matter of fact, I might park Air Force One to save the American taxpayer money and have anybody who wants to deal with us and work with us come to us. I'm not going to do that because that's an enormous expense. At least I'll try my best. There may be a time where it has to be done for certain occasions, but I'm going to be working hard here in our homeland and working with all our allies to come up with plans and strategies to help their countries and to focus strongly here in America. You've heard most of my videos. I'm asking everybody who hasn't, please listen to them so you can see all the strategies I've set forth so far in the 35 videos and many, many more to come. I want to say thank you for taking your time out of your day to listen to this video. For all the people who haven't seen me before, my name is John Diaz. I'm an independent candidate running for the presidency of the United States. I'm asking for all the people's help to make a change, a real change. A change for our people, a change for our environment, for all the litter we see, for coming out with new systems like conversion of plastics to gas and diesel, for recycling, for looking at our landfills and coming up with a new strategy. Who knows, maybe we can even dig up the old landfills and remove all the plastics to get all that out of the ground. It's a matter of talking it over and coming up with real solutions, getting rid of fires once and for all, coming up with a water plan for America's farmers, coming up with an explosive economy to help all the truckers in America have a prosperous future where they make real money and they're not struggling every day like we see now. So it doesn't matter if you guys are into other candidates that talk real nice, that have the big degrees and can convince people easier, but I just ask all of you that are on the other side, what are they going to do for you? Also, what plans have they set forth to help the environment, the litter problems, the fires that we face all over, the floods, the water shortages, the droughts, all the global warming effects. So I'm asking for your help. One way you can help is subscribe to my channel. One way you can help is share these videos, like these videos, and tell everybody you can about me. The one guy that's willing to make an enormous change in a small amount of time. And I want to do this because I want to set a new tone in America by leading by example and by actually making a change. Not one change, but so many changes that'll change the course of this country. And always remember, Russia and China will always do whatever it takes to sabotage the economy. And I'll have all that in my mind. So, we'll be nice. We'll work with everybody. But if they have other bad intentions for us, I'll know. Thank you so much for watching. This was a long video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please continue to watch all the previous videos if you're new and you don't know me. And please continue to watch every other video after this. Thanks for watching so much. I appreciate all your help. I hope you've enjoyed this. Please tell everybody about me. John Diaz. Thank you. God bless you all. God bless our nation, and God bless everyone in this world. Thank you. Bye-bye now.